do I actually want it to last 3 rounds and torturing for 3 rounds, or should I just get it out the way, make the referee stop the fight?
That's an odd way to look at a family member. So, getting into some of the local stuff, like you just said, your name was kind of catching on. I read in an article that Kenny Milliner thought that you were a very natural fighter, and like I told you earlier in the instant message before we met up, I was one thing that jumped off the screen to me was you were a very relaxed fighter in the ring, and I just mentioned that because I know one of my favorite fighters was James Toney, and that was kind of signature to him was how relaxed he seemed to stay. Floyd is another one that obviously stays very relaxed, but just for me, that just jumps off the screen. It may not be the most, it's not like saying a dude has a lot of power or has power in both hands, but I just feel like with that being relaxed, you can get back, you can step back and see things. You can, you don't panic, you don't tire yourself out unnecessarily. So I just always, like I said, that was one of the things that jumped out. I wasn't quite sure how you were going to move and all of that, but like I said, when I watched a couple of fights, man, it does seem like you know what you're doing. Locally, how did you get selected for events such as like Drake's Fight Night, the Fifth Third? I forgot all about that. That was maybe 2011.
Yeah, Fifth Third Field.
Fifth Third Field. I don't know how far along whether that became a series or it was just a one night thing. But how did you get approached for that? Those opportunities
with the Drake show. It was like kind of like random because, like, I guess they just randomly threw a show together and we found out last minute. Because with that fight, we actually gave up 20 pounds. Like, it was a 20-pound weight difference against one of Drake fighters.
Okay, that was the Ray Smith kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
He fought at, I think his natural weight was like 175 that is fighting at. And then I came in at like 150, like 151, 150. The fight night at Fifth Third Field.
But you won that one, though.
Yeah,
you beat a heavy man.
Yeah.
What was that a decision or you get the stoppage?
That went to the decision.
Okay.
But with the fight night at Fifth Third Field, that was with Milton Pearson and everything. Me and him is pretty close as far as like with my boxing and everything. So I asked him, could we get on that card? He told me yes. So it was there.
Now, did you and his son Chris, did you guys have any relationship prior to boxing in high school sports or anything? Or?
Nope, I actually met Chris through boxing.
Okay. So you guys have sparred before?
Yeah, we sparred a few times.
Okay. I'm hoping to get Chris on. I'm not going to spin right now trying to talk about him, but him being a little farther along than you and just being involved in this event coming up at Trent Arena, I'm just trying to get Mr. Pearson and Chris on. But so just trying to give people an idea of what's going on in the city in general. So was there any connections that were made from that Friday night fights? I mean, I know Milt was a big part of getting that to happen, but were there any other? Because I know Buster Douglas is involved in this event in Kettering. Was there any other notable people involved in the Friday night fights thing?
A few people ended up contacting me as far as about sponsors and everything, but like other than that, I don't really know too much about everybody else that was down there. So that's kind of up in the air with me. So I'm not sure as far as who all was down there watching and everything like that. And that fight was crazy too, because I have never fought in front of a crowd that big, especially for it to be in my home city.
It's so like 2,000 people or something? Or
yeah, I was nervous as heck that fight.
Okay, so backing up to the Missouri, was that before the Missouri or after?
I think that was after.
Okay. So even at the Buster Douglas tournament for Ohio State Fair, that was a smaller crowd than the whole.
Yeah, that's like the Ohio State Fair is like a lot of people there, but everybody's not watching a boxing event. Like it's probably only a couple hundred people that's actually sitting there watching a boxing event go on.
Okay.
Versus coming to your home crowd and you're in front of thousands of people, and then like the whole ring entrance was different than me and everything. Everybody screaming my name, everything like that. So it kind of like took advantage of my nerves and mindset.
Now, did the family make it out for that one?
Yeah, most of the family did come down to that one.
Okay. I think I had some stuff going on or whatnot, and just my focus wasn't as locally as it is now. But like I said, now doing what I'm doing with Pay Me No Mind, it's always great to try to get some of the local products on there. So really quickly before we move on to your pro career, man, what was going on? I saw for a while, and I'm just bringing this up because I didn't even know this till I read it yesterday, but you were actually a student down at Sinclair for a while, and I just thought that was significant because I found out that Buster Douglas actually played basketball at Sinclair.
Right.
I didn't have a clue about that. Did you finish up down there, or I saw you had some aspirations of being, and it kind of, in talking with you and meeting you, I saw something about possibly wanting to be a member of a SWAT team, and watching you in the ring and your journey through boxing, you just seem like a guy, a doer more than a talker. So that never happened, or
as of right now, I'm gonna go back and finish the school. But I had slowed down to actually get focused on my craft more as far as with the boxing thing, and then life took its tolls and everything like that. So right now, like, the schoolwork is just on pause. Okay. But I'm definitely gonna finish it.
Okay. All right, so man, let's get into some of this pro talk. 26 years of age, right?
Right.
So I checked you out a little bit on Boxing Rec, and not too terribly ranked in the world at welterweight. Right now the record is 0-2-1, and we talked about it a little bit before the show. But you're adamant that there's been some robberies in these decisions. In the 3 fights, I see you fought twice in Indy, or once in Indy and twice in Cincinnati. And I guess my question is, man, what fed into the decision that once you went pro to drop down from the 160 and get into some welter and junior welter, get in that class?
Actually,
because I didn't even think you could get down, because you looked in pretty good shape on the World Series of boxing fights that I watched. So I was kind of shocked to see you be able to drop 18 pounds.
With the pro ranks right now in this whole weight difference, it actually been coming because I'm eating different and everything like that. Because now I'm working with a nutritionist, which is Dre Newton on Facebook, Party Chef 937 on Instagram. He makes my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Basically, anything that goes in my body, he has to approve of it. So at first, I didn't really know that eating different to actually drop my weight like that. But we made it down to 141 for the last fight, so I was surprised myself when I got on the scale.
Right, because I looked at that one being in June of 2015. Your first fight was in June of 2014 at 150 against Rick Graham. Then in February or March of 2015 was again at 149 and a half. So I was kind of shocked to see you at 142. So knowing that you can get to 142, why are you deciding to stay at 147? Because
the fight at 142 was actually the last minute, and it was like, well, I ain't gonna say it was the last minute, but the whole weight thing was kind of iffy, because they was telling me and my camp like he won't fight you unless you come down to 141. And then we kind of agreed to it because of the fact that we wanted to fight, and we already had a lot of people coming out to show support and show love on the card. But then when we got out there, he ended up telling me, I told them to tell you to meet me at 145. So it's we was already down that weight, so we, all right, whatever, it don't really matter. So with the weight thing, with that fight, it was a big argument, a big debate. His camp was basically trying to get me as low as possible and everything like that. So
now that's interesting, man. And I didn't even mean to really jump past the World Series of boxing fights, because I think those are very important. And then for you to be on, for you to have some footage of you in the ring in action versus international talent. You fought in Italy, London, and Russia, and so you got some stamps in the on your passport. And then the other one was at the Music Box in Hollywood.
Right. So
those were all at 160, correct?
Right.
So let's unpack those real quick before we move to those last 3 fights, because like I said, the World Series of Boxing is kind of confusing. That it's not professional, but you got paid for, and it gets some things started. So and you just mentioned something with the weight, and then you skipped out or opted not to fight in a competition that was going on in Cincinnati, but then went, to take advantage of an opportunity to fight in the WSB. So the first one was in 2011 versus Kanat Slam, and that was a pretty tough fight for you, man. But you said you were kind of inactive going into that one,
right?
And so that was my question, was like, did your trainer get to attend that fight with you?
Yeah, they actually flew like the whole training staff out there with me and everything. So
okay, what was the heads up on that fight? Like, when did that call come?
I ended up going back to the gym after losing the Olympic qualifier. I went back in the gym basically to check on the amateurs to make sure they was all still working. And I just happened to be in the gym when I got the phone call. They introduced themselves, told me they was the president of the LA Matadors at the time. They was interested in me fighting for the team because they was down there at the Olympic qualifier and they seen me fight. And then said that I also got suggested as far as they picked me up. So that was a Thursday night. They told me they want me to fight Sunday and everything. They told me about the kid. They told me that he basically was stopping all the fighters and knocking them out. That's actually what made me even more interested in taking the fight. Like, oh, so he dropping everybody. let me see.
You're interesting guy. Interesting guy.
So then they told me about like how the payment and everything worked, like how much they paid, like offering me to come out there and fight.
Okay.
So then I ended up talking to Kenny. Like I told Kenny about the call, like told him like basically like they just called, they want me to fight for them, etc. He asked me what I think, even though I wasn't in the gym, because I think I was at the gym probably for like 3 months after that loss in the Olympic qualifier. But the fact that it's a televised fight and I'm getting paid for it and it's against somebody that's knocking everybody else out, I'm like, why not? Like, why not do it? So Thursday night they called back, sent me the flight confirmation number. I flew out probably like within the next 8 hours Friday morning. So
now, did you get to see any footage of Kanat Slam before you guys squared off, or just kind of
with that? Like when I got out there, when I got to Hollywood, California, and everything, like the team that was out there already, like all the other fighters was out there, they was telling me about him. But at the same time, I wasn't too pressed as far as like looking at footage or nothing about it, because at the same time, it's like just because he fought this person this way, it don't mean he'll fight me the same way. Because it's just like same way when I fight. Based on who I'm fighting, I'll change how I approach the fight. So I didn't really even bother to Google him, YouTube him, or none of that sort. All they kept telling me was he got a strong right hand.
Right. So that was 2011. Did you only fight in? How does the WSB work? I mean, do you fight once and move on? Do you look? Is it one loss and you're done? How does it really work?
With WSB, it's basically like a tournament within the countries and everything, like the top amateurs in each country, and everything like that. Each show had 5 fights. The team that won three out of 5 fights basically got points towards they rating and everything. And then at the end of the tournament, basically in March, the top 8 teams fought for $500,000.
Okay.
So it's basically like a ranking and league type tournament.
And that gets split up amongst the team and the fighters.
Yeah.
It kind of trickles down.
Right.
Okay, I would imagine. All right, so you went back to the WSB, and you only fought in one fight in 2011?
2011. That was the first fight.
Okay, so that. Now I didn't see Kanat Slam move on. I haven't seen the guy lately, so if he's doing anything. Or
I'm actually, like, craziest thing, I'm following Kanat Slam right now because I need a rematch with him. I got to show him that fight that he had with me, that was a Jeff. Like, that wasn't the nightmare. That was a tired, washed up version, everything like that. So right now he's living in Miami, undefeated right now in the pros. Think he sits. I want to say 6-0, 5-0, one of the two. But yeah, I'm following him right now. I'll be seeing him real soon.
I like that in you. Where did Nightmare come from?
Nightmare actually came from a group of fans.
Okay.
Like it was a group of fans from Cincinnati, between Cincinnati and Columbus. They always came to the fights and everything. One fight I was fighting under Buddy LaRosa. Like, he put on a show down there in Cincinnati.